Investigation comes from questioning and good questioning, and as practitioners working with children in science we need to facilitate that. So that's kind of what I want you to have in the back of the head whilst you're doing that, if that's okay.
I suppose you could discuss what kind of shelter it is they want to make, like we did,
and what for.
Yeah.
So
If
the
we
purpose.
were children, we wouldn't automatically know, would we?
No, we wouldn't.
So then which type of rope are we going to use? Are we going to use thick or thin? Depends how big our lunch is and which bag we're going to use
And what pulley system
and
we
what
use.
pulley system we're going to use. So we have to make a
So we've got to
decision,
match
don't
the
we?
pulley to the ropes.
It's not just about using the school grounds, it's also about using the local facilities, like obviously the heritage of Southend, the arts and creativity in Southend. And what we have for this training sessions is to make people aware that there is an awful lot of learning that take place outside four walls, and we want to change teachers' mindset that learning takes place only in the classroom.
It's been really interesting because every meeting has gone from one school to another, just seeing the resources that some schools have.
Why should people go to school, go to university after school? Because you can meet so many people because of the experience.
You don't have to be top of your class. You just have to aim high and try hard.
You can achieve so much.
What does it mean to be inspirational? Have goals to achieve and to build your confidence. What you can find at university. Computer suite, lecture room. There's a hall of residence, common room, campus and students' union. Courses. Languages, politics, art and theatre. These are some of courses you can do. There are at least 50,000 all over the world in universities all over the world.
Sam Wood.
There's the camera.
One, two, three, go! Watch out!
So you could take that
What
one.
about that one? Support the council meeting. I thought I already did. So that one.
So which one of these would be to help to publicise? You have to decide in your partners, you have to discuss and talk, put your point of view across. Why should your packet of flavour crisps be the one that is selected?
I think we should have cheese and onion, salt and vinegar because they're nice and salty and really good.
How should we go about getting our views for this?
Vote. We can have a vote and then pick the one with the most votes, and then we can ask those people why they chose that one instead of the other one.
It's really good to always give a reason why you think something.
Salt and vinegar. Smokey bacon.
Students and staff should make joint decisions.
I've got to stay here for a reason.
I
think that's where the school council is really
Yes.
now beginning to show how
Yeah.
high profile you are, because your views now and views of anybody in your classes or in the school, you can pass on to the teachers. And that's when we're saying about so many things now are going to be joint decisions, because we do want your input. And if you speak to everybody else in the school, which is going to be your jobs, then we will know exactly what you want and how we can arrange it for you.
Blenheim Primary School, so a real achievement for Blenheim Primary School and well earned. Well done. I'm assuming that all of you who here know what's involved in the criteria for these certificates and the different levels, and you'll know that gold is no mean feat. Equally, silver involves a lot of hard work and a lot of commitment. So the first silver award goes to Lee North Street. Well done. Thank you very much.
I'm really proud to have received a gold award. It's been a lot of hard work, and it means that my colleagues are now confident enough to teach French within our school, and the children really benefit from it.
Temple Sutton Primary School. Well done. Definitely someone who's been around most of the events.
Our children really respond well to learning about other cultures. They particularly like looking at how the children live, how they go to school, if they do go to school, what they wear, what they do in their spare time. And they enjoy finding out about food. They like dance and music, looking at instruments from around the world, and festivals and celebrations as well. How they're the same and how they're different to things that we do here. Our children are not just tolerant of other cultures, they're very accepting of people from all over the world, and they like to celebrate the differences in everybody.
When we set up this project, we wanted to find something that would engage children in an art form that we wouldn't necessarily teach through the curriculum. And working with creative partnerships, we managed to get 4 incredible forms of dancing in the forms of contemporary and ballet and flamenco and street dance, and offer that to a large proportion of the children in the school. And in addition, we had some writers coming in and a performance poet to try and see whether we could fuse different art forms together.
How you getting on? Oh, that looks good. You're going to save. So you're going to save this bit for collage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the next table, isn't it? You're going to do collage on the next table. Yeah. We're getting the kids to fill out. You can see you've got 4 different tables, and they're moving around between the tables with the different textures. And we've got crayons, we've got collage, we've got, you know. And at the end of it, they'll have produced a portrait in the colours that we're asking them to do. When it comes down to it, kids will have contributed by hand to something which is, I think, actually thoroughly modern. So, you know.
Right, 16, come to you.
With my group, it's been a real good experience for their motor skills, holding the pens, the paintbrush, that all helps, and staying in the lines and the right sections. It's been good for communication, because that's what we focus on in my class, because we can do the signs for colours, signs for pencil, pen, and they can speak and say what they want to use. That's been good. My class have also enjoyed being part of a group, because the whole of Lancaster School have done it, so it's all going to be put together and make one big piece, and they're aware of that, and they like the thought that everyone's doing it and it's all going to come together. And then we're hoping that the different classes in the school can go and visit it and see the final piece as well, which would be nice. So they've seen the starting piece and then can see it when it's finished as well.
Will Adams taught the leader of Japan how to make ships and how to make guns.
I think it's possibly the biggest collaborative art project to have happened in this area.
Shows a gensha, the Japanese word for an accomplished woman with skills in singing, dancing and conversation.
I'm really hopeful about it because I think it's, you've got half the schools in the area contributing to a massive piece of artwork, and that's quite special really.
When I first walked in, I felt like I was on a different planet. It's amazing. It's given me loads of new ideas for what I want to do with my art as well.
What I thought I would come and do today was just to tell you one story, basically. But it's a story that pretty much changed my life. And I'm hoping once I've told you this story, it might have a small effect on your life. And you don't have to be a world champion, an Olympic champion, the best in the world to be successful or to do your best. It's all about the attitude that you take. It just so happens that the story I'm going to tell you was and took place at a World Championships. But if you look at all the things that went into this whole story, it's stuff that you guys can do pretty much every day of your lives. In the relay event, me and the rest of the relay squad, we wasn't only expected to make the final, we was expected to win the silver medal. We decided to go to bed, get an early night. Roger and Chris were sharing one room. Addy Matthew and Mark Richardson were sharing another room, and that left me with the short straw, because I've got to share a room with John Regis. We woke up the next day, and it's the big day of the final. Right, there's two things I will tell you about when you compete either at Olympic Games or World Championships. Number one, there's always two athletics tracks. It'll be the same in London next year. There's always two athletics tracks. There's the main athletics track where all the action happens in the Olympic Stadium, and right next to it is another track which is called the warm-up track. And that's where you go down and you do all your warming up and all your preparations before your race, and then you get transported to the main stadium. So with that minute to go, people start to get a bit nervous, take a bit more water on. Some people start to take their tracksuits off, just to tightening their spikes, just making sure that the laces are all tucked in and all done up properly, checking everything, making sure your numbers are stuck on. Then another whistle goes with 30 seconds to go. At this point, the four of us got together, we all sort of had a huddle. It goes, come on guys, this is ours. Let's go and kick some Yankee butt. So, no Americans in here, is there, by the way?
Have a look, because I think they're a bit tricky. Read the words, because we need to actually see what they are. See if you can work them out. So those two together.
Student voice is something that's been a real big thing in education in the last few years. And of course community and community cohesion. So I think an event like this brings all that together, because the students have a voice. and they are engaging with members of their community. They're coming together as schools. They're not just separate schools doing their own debates in their own schools. They've been working very hard in preparing for the debate, but now they're coming together to have their student voice, which I think is a very powerful one when they do work together.
There is too much litter in places such as Maple Avenue, Leigh-on-Sea and Manchester Drive Brook. As far as Sunshine Playgroup, what do you propose to do about it?
We have crews patrolling Southend, right through from Chalk all the way down to Shoebury and the Leigh area. And these crew pay regular visits to all the streets in Southend over a period of time.
We like to spend time at Eastwood Park, which is quite near to our school.
However, there is often a lot of litter and dog mess in the park, which doesn't look very nice and makes it dangerous and dirty for us to play there.
We think there should be more bins for both litter and dog mess in the park.
With regards to the playground being dirty and damaged and unusable, as my colleague said, he visited yesterday and it is in quite good condition. Playgrounds only get damaged when people misuse them, they don't damage themselves. So it's the people who go out into the parks, who are using the parks, who cause that damage.
We are worried that some of St Lawrence's Park will be lost when the new runway is built at Southend Airport, and that we will lose our football pitch and some of our play area.
We were a little worried about the play area because we thought that you were going to be losing some space, but we're quite happy with what Joe's told us, that you will be definitely getting more play area, and you'll also be getting the Wild Park and all the new equipment. So all I would say to Prince Avenue pupils is don't tell everybody because they'll all want to use it. Thank you.
And here's the Wildlife Watch. I became their president and also the president of the big thing quite soon. And it was wonderful to get these kids out and teach them about natural history. And they wanted to do it. David, she said, you see all the trees and the shrubs, we put them there. But all the insects and all the creepy crawlies came by themselves. And I had to pop round the corner and almost cry with that one. I asked all the kids, all the time they just arrived, and how many of you had pets? And in those days, everyone had pets.
One of the things, particularly in RE, for example, we're trying to get the awe and wonder across, aren't we? We're trying to show how something can be special. And this is an emotional response one, very simple. It's just a picture frame. And if you find something that you really like the look of, I don't like the look of this, actually, that's pretty yucky, but if I wanted to highlight that, I could put a picture frame down. You could have a group of children going around doing the same thing, and then they show each other what they found.
In the boring, grey town of Beaulieu, where no one ever smiled, there was once a girl who laughed too much. And for an opening sentence, that is exquisite. I just think that would stop you. You know, if you opened a book and read that, you would need to read what came next.
But this is a piece of pottery from a very old tribe, about 20,000 years ago, and the bumps on it, if you'd like to just run your finger over the bumps, they're actually a language. And this is a prophecy, and it says that when you find this, you'll be in the company of someone who has found great wealth.
And I want to start to present a case based on Ofsted evidence of the value that offers education, and in particular, learning. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Anyone know where that's from or who said that? A long, long time ago. It's Confucius.
The course that Judith and I have been delivering to 17 schools
across the borough has come about from a need from the schools themselves, wanting some practical ideas about pushing forward the gifted and talented agenda within their schools, with an understanding that it's not about elitism, it's actually about ensuring that children's gifts and talents are recognised.
So currently children are identified in maths and English if they're achieving 2 fine levels above the national expectation for their age. So I've been quite strict with my register and literally having our exceptional children on there, but I wanted to see if there were children that we were missing who had potential but needed support in another area.
What the course allowed me to do is to focus on the first steps, to stand back, look at what the school's need were and focus on that and take the first steps on that journey of helping the school meet those needs.
And it is about enabling children to do as well as they possibly can. And it's unpicking the teaching and learning that goes on within a school. And it's taking that step. You have to be quite daring in your teaching to be able to be open-ended and to provide challenges in the classroom, because sometimes they don't go in the way that you might predict they would go.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for braving the weather. What we try to do is to encourage teachers, staff at school to take children outside of the classroom. It can be other parts in the school building, the school grounds, using the local area or even further afield.
I'd just like to just show you a little inkling of how much hidden history there is around Southend Seafront.
All children benefit, but there are certain children who benefit exponentially from these kind of experiences.
Well, today we're organising a network meeting. We have these every half term, and the whole point of the network meetings is to gather teachers together and to provide them with some work to do back in school, because we're trying to encourage taking children outside into the environment. It's all about learning outside the classroom, and we also want to encourage a partnership with Southend Museums, where they're obviously doing exactly the same thing, trying to provide more facilities for children to come out of the classroom and experience more lifelike opportunities.
It is your organisation. You can totally direct it in whichever way you wish.
But we do know, as one of our colleagues pointed out earlier, that SET is regarded nationally as an example of very good practice for getting a family of schools together, for doing partnership work and for doing stuff that's really bespoke to groups of students, groups of young people, groups of schools that need something special. And
one thing, if I was a teacher coming in now compared to a teacher coming into education 15, 20 years ago, I would say the one big thing that's missing is really, really high quality, localised specialist teacher training education on specialist subjects within the primary section particularly.
One of the best things I think my school has benefited from, which has arisen out of SET, has actually been the work with metal. I think those sort of things are really very important, and I would really like to see SET continuing with that kind of collaboration and association, and maybe even spreading on from that. But for my school, that has really been fantastic.
We have been the future for quite a while now. We just need to make sure that our future continues and grows. And to do that, we've just got to work together and take risks. And we do that extraordinarily well.
so I think we're at the fulcrum point now of having been very successful for the last 10 years, being miles ahead of the game, frankly, about 5 years ahead of the time. And now we're going to look to the next 10 years and say, well, what do we want to do now? Where do we want to be? Where do we see ourselves in 10 years?
And the idea was that schools were working in partnership, and that really succeeded. Out of that, the document Shaping the Future emerged, but we felt that this wasn't really relevant for the teachers in the classroom. It was the pedagogy, and people had got a lot out of what they'd done, but something that would be useful for teachers in the classroom would be knowing where various places were that they could visit with their children and local resources that they could use.
But it is really about getting that sense of collective power. Individually, we're all quite powerful. Together, in a trust, that's just for us, it's a charity, it doesn't make a profit, no shareholders, no one's creaming anything off, it's all going back into the schools. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. It's got to be a good idea, but it took a good initiative to get it going, and it's taken a lot of drive and effort from everybody concerned to keep it going.